This is a great project that teaches children about circuits, how electromagnetic motors work, and also the basic principles of angular motion. An elastic band acting as a drive belt runs from the shaft of the motor around a larger pulley attached to the axle on the back wheel. Because this driven pulley on the axle is larger than the motor shaft, it rotates more slowly but with greater torque or turning force. Let's start with the circuit. Remove any bits of insulation and twist the ends of the wire like you would thread if you were threading a needle. You don't want any loose strands. Connect one end of the loose red wire to the right terminal of the motor. And the other to the switch. Connect the red wire from the battery holder to the other terminal of the switch. The legs of the switch can be pushed apart a little to make it easier to thread the wires through. You want to be sure no stray threads touch either the other wire or the other terminal, or the electrons will be able to bypass the switch. Connect the black battery wire to the left terminal of the motor. Just a note, when connecting the wires, you want to be sure your connection is tight, but be very careful not to twist so hard that you break the terminals of the motor. They're a little fragile. Also, once you've connected your wires, do not lift the motor by the wires or you may break off the terminals. Secure everything with electrical tape. Now let's cut the template of the box. Cut along the dashed lines. Use the blue foam mat under the cardboard and carefully push out the center piece with scissors. Insert a skewer into the corrugation to make the base stronger and more rigid. Make your axle pulley. Cut a piece of straw about 1.7 centimeters. Slide one rubber stopper onto the skewer. Slide a straw onto the skewer and into the stopper. Slide the second stopper onto the skewer so that it fits over the straw. Push the stoppers together so they're tight against each other with the straw piece in the center of them. Center the pulley. There should be about 6 centimeters of skewer on each end. When pushing the stoppers onto the stick, hold the skewer close to the stopper. You'll find it easier and the skewers will be less likely to break. Cut 2 pieces of straw the width of cardboard beside the hole. They'll be about 3 centimeters. These are to hold the axle and allow it to rotate. Slip the piece of straw onto the skewer. Slip the elastic on, and don't forget this part because you'll have to take everything apart if you forget it. Then attach these to the straw pieces. Attach these straw pieces to the underside of the cardboard with double-sided tape. You want it to be at the back of the hole, but you do not want the pulley to rub against the cardboard. And try to have your axle as straight as possible. I snip little bits of cardboard just in front of the straw and fold it up for extra support. Now this is my favorite part. Put the washer on the end of the shaft of the motor and slip the elastic around the shaft. We want to find the point where the axle spins the fastest. If the elastic is either too tight or too loose, the shaft slows down. So turn on your motor and play with positioning until you're happy with your speed. Now mark the cardboard. Use double-sided tape and regular tape as well to secure the motor in place. Like with the axle, snip little bits of cardboard, this time just behind the motor, and fold it up for extra support. How you do the front wheels depends on whether you want a regular 4-wheel vehicle or a 3-wheeler. The 4-wheel vehicle is the simplest. Cut a piece of straw the width of the cardboard. Push a little plastic bead onto the skewer. They are to keep the wheel out from the cardboard. Use the blue mat to do this safely. They're a little tight, so you may need an adult's help. Place the lid on the blue mat and, holding the skewer near the bottom, push it into the hole in the lid. Be very careful not to poke yourself with the skewer. Next, slip on the straw. The second bead and straw are just like the first, but may be a little more difficult because it's harder to hold the skewer. Be sure to use the blue mat and do this safely. Add beads outside the wheels to keep them in place. Snip off the sharp points of the skewers. Attach your straw as straightly as you can. It can be anywhere in the front of the car as long as the front and back wheels don't touch. Trim the cardboard if the wheels are rubbing. You may want to trim the cardboard even if they're not rubbing to make it look cooler. Trim it pointy or round, or of course any shape you like. To make the 3-wheeler, cut a slot in the front of the cardboard, 2.5 centimeters in width and approximately 8 centimeters in depth. Place one wheel on the blue mat and safely push the wheel onto the skewer. Adjust it so that it is in the middle of the skewer. Push beads on either side. Cut straws the width of the cardboard on either side of your slot. Slip on the skewer. Attach with double-sided tape. Adding wheels to the back of the car is like the front. Push on the beads first, then with the wheels on the blue mat carefully push the skewers into the holes in the lid. Use double-sided tape to attach the battery pack and switch. I usually add the battery pack to the back of the car because the extra weight gives the car traction and makes it go faster. Attach the switch anywhere you like, and that's it.